Hello YouTube. I'm doing this review because I could not find anywhere online a review of the Microheli Aluminum Carbon fiber quadcopter kit. It's an upgrade for the Blade Nano QX FPV. I actually already did the complete build and then took it apart, and I'm gonna tell you why. But I wanted to do this video to at least get this online for people that might have been looking for this. And I'm going to talk and just kind of spin and flip it around, just so you can get a different look at it than other than the pictures that are, well, a few pictures that are available online. So I bought this through just online it's on sale for like $34.99 plus shipping in California. You can find them on eBay if you do a search of like Blade Nano QX Carbon or something like that. But it is made, I think, by a company called Microheli. And yeah, it comes in two different options. This is the black and silver. I've seen it with the black and red. So you'll get it shipped and it's not assembled. It's actually very flat when you get it. So the legs are not on there. These feet or legs, whatever you want to refer to them as, they are not installed. None of the floor. This top section is separated. These 4 bars are all in a bag. The battery holder with all of the screws are all in a bag. All these screws in a bag, and they're tiny. The build process for me wasn't easy just because these screws are very small. I don't have much to compare it to other than here's size of the motor. So make sure when you do it, if you decide to buy it, that you have a small, tiny Phillips head, like for a, I don't know, sunglasses, eyeglasses, some tweezers, maybe like a magnetic tray, because I lost 2 of these screws. They popped out onto the floor of my garage, and I just kept on going with the build and went to go find them later, which I did. Took a while with a flashlight, but I found them. So that's kind of what I'm suggesting. I'm sure there's some other things out there that you might need, but I built it, tried to fly it, and then took it apart because, well, hold on. I built it, took it apart a number of times, put it back together a number of times just to try to get it to fly properly, but it ultimately wouldn't. I thought it might have been something I did wrong. Maybe the motors, not in the wrong position, but maybe the motors, maybe I messed them up. But ultimately, put them back on the original Nano, and it flies just out, like I got it out of the box. So it flies just fine. So I'm saying that something might be wrong with this, or I got a defective one, because ultimately, just again, after just a ton of builds and takedowns and builds again, I could not get this thing to fly properly. What would happen is I just have an extra motor here for just illustration purposes, but what would happen is as soon as I'd get this thing to fly, you can even see it right now, you can see how much flex is in this. These motors, once they got up to speed, would just violently vibrate, just, like this, and almost like an unbalanced wheel. And it would just make this incredibly loud noise. I don't know, the props were all on there fine. The props are fine. These are the same props that I'm using here. They're fine. They are fine. But for some reason on here, it just did not like the spin. And I want to say it's because of this. So if you take a look, this is so flexible, and I'll just put my hand back there so you can try to get some focus. They're so flexible. You can just see from the body to where the motor is, I'm just barely touching it. These things would just, like this, just incredibly loud, noisy, and just vibrating. And I know that there's some flex built into this, but it seems like it's the whole arm that flexes, you know, and this part's pretty stiff. But on here, it seems like it, I mean, these things are just so thin that even at the very end, and again, I'm just applying a little, I mean, just a tiny bit of pressure, and the thing is just bending. I know I don't have the motor all the way. It's just, I don't think that was it, because I did have them properly installed, you know, seated all the way down into that gap. There's a little tiny notch they put in there so it, you know, doesn't crush the cables. But these things were just, I mean, just ridiculous. So ultimately, you know, kind of thought it was my motors, took it apart, put it back on my original Nano, and it was fine. So I don't know, maybe I'm thinking it's something to do with how thin this frame is. You know, you can see, look at the feet. I mean, that thing just is super flexy. And I'm thinking that it's just possibly too thin. Look at the motor. You know, just even that little bit of bounce. But, you know, these motors are so strong. By the way, these are the medium motors. I don't think it should have a problem. At least they never said that you couldn't use the medium motors. And when I mean medium, it's not the stock motor. Well, this is the stock motor, sorry. These are the new motors. They don't say anything about, you know, not being able to use these new motors. Medium motors or upgraded motors. They're not the insanely fast ones, they're just called the medium. So anyway, that's it. Again, there's not, I don't see any videos. I'm thinking this may be the only video online of this Microheli for the Blade Nano QX. So if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments, but this is going back. I really wanted it to work. It is so cool looking. You know, had this ready to go. Just to kind of sit right in there. You know, it was just going to be cool looking. You get the point. You get the point. But this was going to be so cool looking when I was done. And it was done. It was built. It just won't fly. So, again, if you have any questions, just let me know. This is the Micro Aluminum Carbon Fiber Quadcopter Kit for the Blade Nano QX FPV. About 39 bucks. 34 if you try to find that NEXRC website. But that's it. It's going back. I don't know, hoping it's defective. Maybe they send me another one and say, oh yeah, that one's not the right one. But I hope I provided enough angles in here that you can see kind of everything, because there's not a lot of pictures online. But that's it. Anyway, that's it. There's the bottom. Thanks for watching. If you guys think, you know, maybe it's something I'm doing wrong, please don't hesitate to tell me, because I really want this to work. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.